Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into a question that's, well, it's always intrigued me.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
What truly sets the highest achievers apart? The Elon Musks, the Jeff Bezoses. What makes them different from others who might work just as hard but don't see those same huge results?
That is a fantastic question. And our sources today, especially the insights from John Maxwell's work, How Successful People Think, they really shed some light on that.
Maxwell, right. Big name in leadership.
Huge. And what's compelling is it's not just about having more money or, sheer genius level talent.
So it's something else.
Yeah, the core insight really is fundamentally how they think. Their thinking patterns, those underlying habits, seem to dictate the direction and, honestly, the altitude of their success.
How they think. That's a big shift. It implies success isn't just about doing more stuff, but thinking differently.
Exactly. And Maxwell, after mentoring top execs and entrepreneurs for, 4 decades, he really hammers this home.
What's his main takeaway then?
He puts it pretty bluntly. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is how they think. Simple as that.
Okay, so that raises a huge question for you listening. Can we actually train our minds to think like that? Can we adopt these elite patterns?
And that's precisely the mission for this deep dive. We're going to break down 7 transformative thinking habits.
7 of them. Okay.
Yeah. We'll explore what each one really means, look at some, compelling examples, share some study findings that back it up.
Give it some weight.
Right. And crucially, give you practical, actionable steps you can start using immediately. The goal is you walk away equipped to literally change how you think.
I love that. Okay, let's get into it. Where do we start? What's habit number 1?
Habit number 1, and it's foundational, is big picture thinking.
Big picture thinking, okay.
This is all about zooming out, way out. Elite performers, they don't get bogged down in the daily chaos or just hitting the next deadline.
They see something larger?
Exactly. They operate with an eye on their legacy, their core mission, making sure everything aligns. They're essentially engineering outcomes years, sometimes decades, in advance.
Engineering outcomes years ahead. That sounds intense, like playing chess on a massive scale.
It kind of is. Think about Jeff Bezos launching Amazon.
Right, the online bookstore.
Was it just an online bookstore? Or was his big picture this, vast everything store, this huge data-driven logistics empire? He saw that way early on.
That's a great example. He definitely wasn't thinking small. What does the research say about having that long-term view? Does it actually pay off?
Oh, absolutely. There was a 2021 McKinsey report, for instance. It found CEOs with that strong long-term vision were 60% more likely to outperform their peers.
60%? Wow.
Yeah, 60%, both in revenue growth and shareholder returns. So it's not just like wishful thinking. Envisioning the future seems to force a better kind of strategic focus. Helps prune away the noise.
Pruning the noise. I like that. So for you listening, here's something practical.
Yeah, a takeaway.
Every Sunday, maybe pick one decision you're grappling with. Ask yourself, okay, what are, say, 3 long-term consequences of this choice? And really push yourself. Think 3 years out, not just 3 hours.
That's a great exercise, but having that big picture vision, it's only really powerful if you can actually focus enough to make it happen.
Ah, focus. That leads us nicely into the second habit, I'm guessing.
You got it. Focus thinking. In this world we live in, with distractions everywhere, focus is basically a superpower.
Tell me about it. It's hard to maintain.
Totally. So this habit is about deliberately removing distractions, being ruthless about your priorities, and protecting your mental bandwidth like it's gold.
Protecting mental bandwidth. Who exemplifies this?
Well, the classic example is Bill Gates and his Think Weeks.
Oh, yeah, I heard about those.
Twice a year, right. He goes completely off-grid, no meetings, no emails, just reading, reflecting, planning Microsoft's future, deep, uninterrupted focus.
That's pretty extreme, but it makes the point.
Mm-hmm.
We're all swimming in distractions. What's the actual cost of that, neuroscientifically speaking?
It's significant. MIT neuroscientists found that constant task switching, jumping between emails, messages, actual work, it can slash your efficiency by up to 40%.
40%? That's huge.
It is. And it massively increases mental fatigue. Our brains just aren't wired for that constant gear shifting. It drains you.
Okay, that 40% number is sobering. So a direct challenge for you listening.
Let's hear it.
Try implementing the 1-block rule.
Mm-hmm.
Each morning, schedule maybe 90 minutes for your single most important task, your deep work.
And the key.
Defend that block.
Yeah.
Like it's the most critical meeting of your week. No interruptions allowed.
Love it. Okay, so we got big picture and focused thinking. What's number 3?
Number 3 is creative thinking.
Ah, creativity, not just for artists.
Not at all. When you look at real innovators, it's often not about who has the highest IQ. It's about who has the best imagination.
So it's about thinking differently again.
Yeah, creative thinkers reframe problems. They challenge the status quo. They see possibilities others just miss or, dismiss as impossible. It's about forging new paths.
Can you give an example of that reframing?
Sure. Think about Airbnb back when they were struggling, nearly bankrupt.
Right, early days.
They didn't just ask, how do we get more bookings? They asked a totally different kind of wild question. What would an 11-star guest experience look like?
11 stars, that's out there.
Exactly. But that question, that reframing, it completely shifted their thinking and ultimately transformed their brand and what they offered. What's the link between that kind of thinking and actual results?
Well, a Yale study looked at entrepreneurial performance. It showed that the creative thinkers generated 30% more disruptive ideas compared to their more purely analytical peers.
30% more disruption. That's significant.
It is. It shows that while analysis is vital, that ability to stretch beyond logic, to play in that space of healthy absurdity, that's where breakthroughs often happen.
Healthy absurdity. I like that phrase. Okay, action step for creative thinking.
How about this? Each week, take one nagging, recurring challenge you face. Sit down and brainstorm 10 really unconventional solutions.
10.
10. Don't filter. Let yourself be illogical, even silly. The goal is to stretch your thinking, because sometimes the best ideas hide in plain sight just outside the sensible box.
Good one. Okay, so we need big picture, focus, creativity.
Yeah.
But we can't just be dreamers.
Absolutely not. And that brings us perfectly to habit number 4, realistic thinking.
Grounding it back down.
Exactly. Vision is critical, yes, but success demands being grounded. Realistic thinkers anticipate problems, they evaluate risks properly, and they plan with both feet planted firmly on the ground. Foresight is their superpower.
That makes me think of Elon Musk, actually, especially with the Tesla Model 3 launch.
Oh, yeah. How so?
He didn't just assume it would all go smoothly. Reports say he budgeted for worst-case scenarios, major manufacturing delays.
He expected production hell.
He did. And even with that foresight, they still almost went under. But that upfront realism, that planning for the worst, arguably helped him pivot fast enough to survive. Is there data on that kind of proactive thinking?
There is. Harvard Business Review looked at teams using pre-mortem sessions.
Pre-mortems, what's that?
It's where you imagine your project has already failed, catastrophically. Then you work backward to figure out why it failed.
Anticipating the pitfall.
Exactly. And HBR found teams doing this had 30% higher project success rates. It proves that anticipating problems is way better than just reacting when they hit.
30% higher success just by thinking about failure first. Okay, practical step.
Before you pick off any new goal, any significant project, ask yourself, what are 3 critical ways this could fail, and how will I deal with each one if it happens?
Plan A, B, and C for the potential problems.
Yep. Anticipation beats reaction every time.
Okay, so realism balances creativity. What's habit number 5?
Habit 5 is strategic thinking.
Strategic. Sounds important.
It is. This isn't about just being busy or moving fast. It's about leverage. It's playing chess, not checkers.
Chess, not checkers. Meaning
the ability to stack small wins, make moves now that set you up for dominance later. It's about connecting today's actions to tomorrow's desired outcomes. Building systems.
Systems. Apple comes to mind immediately.
How so?
Their success isn't just selling an iPhone or a Mac, right? It's the whole ecosystem.
The integration.
Exactly. Your iPhone works seamlessly with your Mac, AirPods, Watch, iCloud. Each product makes the others more valuable. That's not accidental. That's deeply strategic. It locks you in.
It's a brilliant example of systems thinking, and that approach really pays off. Bain and Company found that companies that tightly align their strategic planning with how they actually operate.
The day-to-day stuff, right.
Those companies outperform competitors by up to 42% over 5 years.
42%, that's a massive difference.
It shows that success isn't just random parts. It's a coherent, strategically designed machine.
Okay, so for you listening, building this habit.
Try this. Once a week, look at your top 3 goals for that week or month. Ask, how do these actually connect to my bigger long-term strategy? What systems am I building right now to support that larger vision?
Making those connections visible. Got it. We're up to number 6.
Number 6 is reflective thinking.
Reflection, taking time out.
purposefully hitting pause. In this crazy fast world, reflective thinkers intentionally stop. It's not about being idle, it's active processing.
What does that pausing achieve?
It transforms raw experience into real insight. It helps you spot your blind spots, learn faster from both wins and losses, and, crucially, stop repeating the same darn mistakes.
I can see that. Any examples in the corporate world?
Shopify is a good one. After every big quarterly launch, their exec team has a dedicated 2-day retrospective.
2 full days?
Yep, and the explicit goal isn't blame. It's about rigorously extracting lessons learned and then systemizing those improvements for the next time. Structured learning.
Systemizing improvements. That sounds powerful. I know even taking 15 minutes after a project helps me. What does the research show?
It confirms the value. A 2020 Cornell study showed leaders who practiced weekly reflection actually improved their decision quality by 23% compared to those who didn't.
23% better decisions just from reflecting once a week.
That's what they found. It highlights that processing, not just constant action, makes your actions much more effective.
Okay, so a simple action step for reflection.
How about this? Every Friday, maybe end of the day, dedicate just 15 minutes. Write down 3 things from the week. 1 win, 1 mistake or lesson learned, and 1 specific adjustment you'll make next week based on that.
Win-mistake adjustment. Simple formula.
Personal growth formula right there.
Okay, brings us to the final habit, number 7.
And it's a powerful one to wrap up with. Growth thinking.
Growth thinking, like a growth mindset.
Very related, yes. At its core, successful people aren't primarily trying to be right all the time. They're trying to get better.
Get better, not just be right. Interesting distinction.
Growth thinkers embrace discomfort. They actively seek out honest feedback even when it stings. And they view failure completely differently.
How so?
Not as a final judgment on them, but as valuable data. Feedback. A clue on the path to getting better, to mastery.
That reminds me of Reed Hastings at Netflix.
Oh, yeah. The pivot from DVDs.
Exactly. He openly admitted their original DVD by mail model was doomed, even when it was still profitable.
Yeah.
That could have been comfortable.
Definitely not comfortable for the organization.
But that growth mindset, that willingness to face the uncomfortable truth and pivot before they had to, that's what allowed them to build the streaming giant they are now. It really echoes Maxwell's point, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Maxwell teaches, if you're not growing, you're plateauing. And if you're plateauing, you're falling behind.
It's this idea of constant, intentional improvement, cultivating curiosity over needing to be certain.
Always learning, always adapting. So the action step for growth thinking.
Adopt the 1% rule.
Yeah.
Just focus on getting 1% better each week. Pick one skill, one habit, one aspect of your mindset. Just 1%. Only 1%. Seems small.
It seems small, but think about the cumulative effect. 1% better each week for a year. You'll be fundamentally different, unrecognizable even.
Okay, wow. That's a powerful set of 7 habits. Let's quickly recap them.
Sounds good. Number 1, big picture thinking. Focus on the legacy, zoom out from the tasks.
Right. Number 2, focus thinking. Protect that deep work time for your main priority.
3, creative thinking. Innovate beyond logic. Don't be afraid to be unconventional.
4, realistic thinking.
Yeah.
Prepare for problems, anticipate challenges, don't just react.
5, strategic thinking. Connect today's actions to tomorrow's goals. Think systems.
6, reflective thinking. Hit pause, turn that experience into actual insight.
And number 7, growth thinking. Aim for progress, getting better, not just being right. Embrace feedback.
Fantastic. Okay, so for you listening, we want you to put this into action now. We've got a simple 3-day challenge.
Just 3 days to start building these muscles. Day 1, practice focused thinking. Protect one 90-minute deep work block. That's it. Defend it.
Day 2, practice reflective thinking. End of the day, write down 3 key learnings. A win, a challenge, an insight, whatever. Just 3 things.
And day 3, practice growth thinking. Take one action that feels a little uncomfortable, ask for feedback, try something new you're unsure about, admit a mistake, and learn from it. One uncomfortable thing.
Just try this little 3-day experiment. We're pretty confident you'll notice a shift. Maybe not huge results yet, but a change in how your mind approaches things.
And to wrap up, let's circle back to that core truth from John Maxwell. It's simple but profound. You can change your life by changing how you think.
So consider that. What does it mean for you right now? What's one small shift in thinking you can make today, even right after listening? Make your very next thought count.